What's up, guys? So in today's video, just want to talk to you guys about what we did to fix the coupe, and I'm gonna show you guys the first crank startup on this thing with it being fixed. Now, thing is with Burton Racing cop kit is that sometimes your distributor can be bad. So in my situation, my aftermarket distributor is not OEM. It's a rare issue, but with an aftermarket distributor, the trigger gear that's inside of it will slowly slide out due to, it rotating and vibration as well. And that basically is what happened to me. So that trigger gear was rotating to a point where it just started sliding out to the point where it wasn't making connection to the magnet, and it just completely shut the car off when we did that pull, and we lost spark. So I literally pushed it back in when I saw that issue, started the car, and it started right up. And I'm gonna show you guys today when I do a cold start on it, because it doesn't need to start. It's been sitting for a while ever since that incident on Friday night. But basically I emailed Burton Racing to see what their ideas were, which is pretty much the same thing I was thinking, to fix that. And they're just saying this happens, but it is a rare issue. Seems to be that OEM distributors doesn't have this issue, but aftermarket distributor does. So if you're rocking an aftermarket distributor, you either need a lock ring with a bolt to secure the trigger gear from rotating out, or you could just rock the stock rotor in place of that to prevent it from rotating too far out where it loses connection. It'll still move around. It has a little bit of wiggle room, but it's not too much to the point where you'll lose that connection of spark in the trigger gear. So just want to get that info out there. I also posted the picture of or I screen grabbed the email that I sent to Burton Racing, and him talking about the situation I have and what his fixes are. But it's pretty much you either do a lock ring and push that bolt down to lock that trigger gear from moving, or you just put the stock rotor back in and just tighten it just so that it'll still move, but you're not going to lose connection with the rotor in there. So all right, guys, so we finally found the issue. I opened the cap off because I was going to test out my old distributor, because I just feel like it was the distributor. Took the cap off, found this wedged out like this. All right, so if it's spinning like this, it's barely making contact to right there. So I literally pushed it back in just like that, and it started right up. So I don't know if there's a fix for this moving back and forth or what, but I may just toss in my old distributor because this doesn't move. I know that for sure. All right, just inside the coupe right now to give you guys a first start, to show you guys that I fixed it. Basically how we figured out the issue was, that trigger gear was backing off. We pushed it back in, we put the rotor in, and we're just gonna give it a couple runs, let it idle, give it a couple revs, check the trigger gear and see if it moved or see how far it went. But with the rotor being in there now, it should fix that issue, and this thing should just start right up. So here we go, first start, cold start, and let's do it. What's up, guys? As you guys can tell, we are in the editing room right now because I'm currently editing this video. Just to recap everything real quick, we fixed our issue with the cop kit, which was basically the distributor trigger gear was sliding off. I actually got a new distributor that has the trigger gear not moving at all, and that works perfectly fine. It seems like the spark from my new distributor is actually a lot stronger. The car wants to start up, but we currently ran into a different issue. So we'll get into that. But basically, after this clip that you guys saw, we took the car out. I did a little first gear roll in, just to see. We solved the high RPM hesitation, that's for sure. But right when I got off the gas, car completely shut off again. But this time, my fuel rail popped off and it was just leaking fuel everywhere. I was priming it. I had fuel shooting out everywhere, and then I had to push the car home because like I said, the fuel rail popped off. So we got some, after the fuel rail popped off and pushing the car back, we got some new hardware, tighten down the bolt, get the fuel rail back on. But now we're currently running into an issue where the car doesn't want to start again. Like I said, we have a new distributor, which that has a different trigger gear. So that issue is solved, which is the first issue that we had. The issue now is that it wants to start, but it doesn't want to start. So it'll crank, it'll start up, like it'll, when you start a car, it'll kind of revs up, and then it'll stay holding idle. The issue that I'm having is that it starts up, and then it doesn't want to hold idle, and it just completely drops. I thought it was an issue with my throttle body. Maybe we have a vacuum leak or something. But I took my spark plugs out and got them in. Like, I didn't really get them inspected, but I sent the photos around and getting different opinions. And I thought they were fouled because they're pretty black. Some carbon buildup was pretty bad. And then, two of the spark plugs were looking a little different. So I'm gonna see if I could add that photo into this video. But you guys can take a look and let me know your thoughts on that. But we got those inspected, and a lot of people were telling me like those spark plugs looks fine. Doesn't seem like it would cause an issue. Some people were saying that you might get away using those spark plugs with an all motor build, not a turbo build. Maybe a turbo build needs more spark or something like that. And while I kept looking at it and sending it around and getting everybody's opinions on it, I sent it to my tuner, and my tuner was just like, two of the spark plugs look lean, while the other two are fine. And he said for sure one is super lean, and it's, in his words, he said it was dangerously lean. And I could see if I could put the photo up. If you guys see the photo, then I have it up in the video. But I'm not exactly too sure which cylinder that would be in. From when I pull out the spark plugs and the orientations, it would be, so from left to right, it'd be 4, 3, 2, 1. From left to right, so it'd be 4, 3, 2, 1, and the one on the furthest right looks like to be super lean, as you could tell on the tips and how the tip of the spark plugs are. The other three are like a little dark, and the other two is a little bit white, and then the one on the far right is just completely white. So while I'm looking at this photo right now while talking to you guys, from the looks of it, far right one injector is not firing correctly, and that could be my clogged injector problem, which is causing an issue with my car not starting, because on the far left is the one that actually popped off after the pull, and the car completely shut off. So the one on the far right is probably clogged, and we won't know until we get it cleaned. I got quoted $120 to get it cleaned, and then if I shipped it, it would be $110. So I'm also paid $120 in town, and I'll probably get it back right away, and I'll know my issues right away as well. But we're definitely gonna wait on that and probably do some other testing beforehand. I definitely want to test the wires, make sure they're getting the power and the ground distributed into those injectors, and make sure that they're actually working or not. That would be a true tell sign of it, working, and then we'll continue from there, then get them cleaned. And then if the cleaning doesn't, solve this issue, then we might have to do a compression test and go from there. Hopefully you guys like this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Please leave a comment below if you guys have any other ideas. But so far, this is where I'm at with the current state with the car. And I appreciate you guys watching. And hopefully, if you guys do switch over to a cop kit, make sure that trigger gear is not moving before you install it. I had no clue about it. I didn't even know it was a thing, but apparently it is. It's a pretty rare issue as well. So trying to spread the word if you guys have any issues with the cop kit, especially a crank no start. Take a look at your trigger gear and then start from there. If the trigger gear is moving, I would recommend on just swapping it out instead of doing a like a countersink ring or whatever the ring is called, just to lock it down so that trigger gear doesn't move. Just get a completely different distributor that has the rotor not moving at all, and just use that one instead. But hope you guys like this video, and I'm out. Peace.